A very good morning and a warm welcome to you, dear students, to your second geography lesson, chapter 2, the sun, the moon and the earth. Have you ever seen the moon and the earth revolve around the sun? Children, see this video.
Solar and lunar. An eclipse occurs due to the movement of the moon around the earth. Both a solar and a lunar eclipse occur only when the sun, the moon and the earth are aligned together. The elliptical path of the moon around the earth and the elliptical path of the earth around the sun intersect each other twice every month. These points of intersection are known as lunar nodes.
So you have seen, children, how the moon and the earth are revolving around the sun. And let's go ahead. Now we will learn about moon positions. Moon's positions. There are two main positions of the moon. The moon keeps on going around the earth. It revolves around the earth. Okay, when it comes to this position, you can see here, this position, when it is closest to the earth, it's called as Perigee. This position is called as Perigee. It's about 3,56,000 kilometers. It is the shortest distance from the earth. Now it's again revolving. Okay, once it revolves and comes to this position, which is farther away from the earth, that is called as Apogee. It is 4,07,000 kilometers away from the earth. So Perigee is the shortest distance, which is 3,56,000, and Apogee is the farthest distance, which is 4,07,000 kilometers. The earth is stationed over here and the moon orbits around it. Let's go ahead. Now this is NASA's live stream of the earth. NASA is the international substation which monitors all the earth activities and the celestial objects in the space. So in space there is the International Space Station. So that is monitoring how the earth is revolving, rotating, what is happening on the earth. And this is the live streaming which is happening current now. I have taken out two pictures from the live stream and I have put it over here for you so that you can see clearly what is happening. This is our earth and this is the international substation is capturing the images of the earth live stream. And here I have given you the YouTube link which is in the description below also. You can go and click and watch the live streaming of the earth. Let's go ahead. Next we will learn is waxing and waning moon. Waxing and waning moon. These are the phases of the moon in which it goes round the earth. There are 4 phases in each stage. 4 phases of waxing, 4 phases of waning. So total 8 phases. Now what is waxing moon? Let me tell you. A waxing moon is any phase of the moon during the lunar cycle, which is about 29 days. It takes 4 stages. Stage 1, first it is new moon. New moon is when the moon is between the earth and the sun. So this is the first phase from year to year. It forms a crescent moon. Then again it comes to year. This is second stage, and third stage, and fourth stage. Fourth stage it becomes the full moon, where the entire moon is lit up, and it is, as you can see, the earth is between the moon and the sun. Now we will come to waning moon. A waning moon period occurs during the lunar cycle for another 29 days, for the next 29 days. So it starts from full moon to new moon. Here also it takes 4 stages. Stage 1 from here, from when it is fully lit up, to first stage, where you can see left side is lit up and right side is slightly under shadow, where it's not lit up. This is the first stage. Second stage, left side is lit up, right side is in darkness. Then we come to the third stage, where the left side is slightly lit up and the remaining part is under darkness. And lastly, it comes to the new moon stage. That is when the moon is between the earth and the sun, and it is completely under darkness. Means that is what we can see. Actually, one part of the moon is lit up, but we cannot see because moon is this side and we are behind it, so we can see only the dark part. Now I am going to show you a video. Please look at the video, you will get more idea about it.
This has a spherical shape like a basketball, but it doesn't always look that way to us. We always see exactly half of the moon. Some of the time, that half is lit by the sun and we see it. At other times, it isn't lit by the sun at all, and we can't see it. Most of the time, the part of the moon that we see is partially lit by the sun and partially shadowed. The moon looks different to us depending on where it is in orbit. Remember, the moon revolves around the Earth once every 29 days. In other words, once a month. As the moon moves around our Earth, we see a different part of it lit by the sun. When the moon is on one side of the Earth and the sun is on the other, we see one half of the moon that is bright with sunlight. This moon is called the full moon because we see a full round circle. Each of the positions of the moon in orbit has a name. Let's look at what they are. When less than half of the moon is lit by the sun, it is called a crescent. When more than half of the moon is lit by the sun, it is called a gibbous. Waxing gibbous indicates the part of the moon that is lit and growing, whereas waning gibbous is the part of the moon that is lit and shrinking. Based on what we just learned, let's look at the different phases of the moon. There are 8 phases in all. We'll now explore each phase of the moon. The lunar cycle begins with the new moon phase, when the moon is not visible from the Earth. This is because the half of the moon that faces away from the Earth is lit, and we only see the dark half. During the waxing crescent phase, we begin to see a very small part of the moon lit by the sun, but most of it is still shadowed. In the first quarter phase, only one half of the moon is visible from the Earth. This is because the right half of the moon appears lit, and the left side of the moon is still shadowed. In the waxing gibbous phase, more than half of the moon appears lit by the sun. When you see a waxing gibbous moon, you know that a full moon is just a few days away. During the full moon phase, the moon is on one side of the Earth and the sun is on the other. The sun illuminates the half of the moon that faces the Earth directly, and the moon looks like a full round circle. In the waning gibbous phase, the other half of the moon is lit by the sun, and we see it looking like a little less than a whole circle. The waning gibbous moon looks like it is shrinking, doesn't it? But it's not. In the third quarter phase, the left half of the moon appears lit, and the right side of the moon appears dark. During the waning crescent phase, the moon looks like a crescent. This moon signals the beginning of a new cycle, and means that you will see the new moon in a few days.
Okay, children, you have understood the waxing and waning moon, that is the phases of the moon. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to show you an activity which you have to do at home. It's called the waxing and waning demonstration activity. This you must do at home, and you will require 4 things. You require a bulb with stand, which is also a torch. Anything you can choose. A bulb with a stand, you can see in the picture over here. This is a bulb with a stand, or you can use a torch. Okay, planted vertically. Then secondly, you require a white foam ball. You can see this lady, she's holding a white foam ball, and you can put it on a pencil. You can poke it on a pencil and hold it. And secondly, you require yourself. that is your head. So you require three things. Your head will serve as the earth, that is yourself. This is the moon, the foam ball is the moon, and this bulb or torch will serve as the sun. Then you can perform this activity. I'll show you this video which you can do at home.
We know that the moon orbits the Earth. So in this model, I'm going to get the moon, the foam ball, to orbit the Earth in my head. Notice that no matter where the moon is in its orbit, half of it is always lit up by the sun. But when the moon is in this position, I can't see any of the lighted side of the moon from Earth, my head. From this angle, you can see what I am seeing from Earth. We call this new moon. When it's new moon, we look up at the sky and we can't see the moon. It's there, but the side that's reflecting sunlight is away from us. Now, as I slowly make the moon orbit to my left, I can begin to see a tiny sliver of that lighted side. We call that a crescent moon. As the moon keeps orbiting, we can see more and more of that lighted side. We see half of the lighted half, which is a quarter moon. In this case, a first quarter moon. As we keep orbiting, we see almost the whole lighted side. We call that a gibbous moon. Then, when we can see the entire lighted half of the moon, that's a full moon. As the moon continues in its orbit, we begin to see less and less of that lighted side. We're back to a gibbous moon, but this time the light is on the opposite side. Then another quarter moon, last quarter moon to be exact. Another crescent, and finally back to new moon. And the cycle begins again. So why does the moon appear in different shapes throughout the month? Because of its orbit. The shape or phase of the moon depends on where it is in its orbit around Earth. It takes about a month for the moon to orbit the Earth. So when you look up at the moon today, know that you'll see that same phase again about a month from now.
So children, this is a beautiful demonstration activity of waxing and waning for you. And you can easily do it at home. I want you all to do it at home and take out a photo and upload it on Google Classroom. Okay, I want you to do this activity. It's a beautiful activity. You can do this in the night, which will be more visible for you. Okay, thank you.